I do get asked a lot by people that are starting out, you know, if they could only afford one mic, because obviously I'm in a very fortunate position. I've got these mics and they're brilliant, but some people can only have one mic, be that because they can only afford one mic or they only have one input in their recording setup, because a lot of people record in their bedrooms, which is amazing anyway. They always say, if you could only have one of these mics, what would it be? So I've thought about this because there's so many different things you can do, but I'd say that it'd probably be the 181. The reason is that it probably is the most versatile out of all of the mics. It has a great spectrum, it picks up a lot of different frequencies. And as for placement, I got taught this about 2 years ago. I was playing with darkness, and it was one of the first things that their front of house engineer told me, which was, if you only have one microphone, put it just above the bass drum and just underneath the ride, and you will get an absolutely brilliant sound of all of the kit. And okay, things won't be completely like isolated or anything like that, and as long as you don't play the ride too hard. That's the other thing he said to me. He said, do you smash the ride? And I was like, I don't have to smash the ride. He's like, good, don't, because I need to put a microphone there. And I was like, well, that's fine. And if I only have one microphone, that is where I put it, and it is definitely the best all-round sound, especially for one mic. It's actually quite phenomenal. So he'll kill me for telling you this, because this is like one of his trade secrets, so sorry Schultz, but you're awesome. If I then had a birthday and got some money for my birthday, and I could afford another mic, then I would probably add into this one mic scenario the PGA 52, just to get that bottom end, because of all the things that is difficult to get on a drum setup is the bottom end. So I'd say, yeah, I'd probably add that in just to get that sub going, and that will give it a bit more of a balanced kind of overview of the kit. If I could have 3 microphones, I would scrap what I had going on altogether, and I would change the setup. I would use 2 181s, and I would set it up in a style similar to a Glyn Johns miking method, which is quite well known in the studio world, which essentially means you have one microphone above the kit and one to the right near the floor tom, and the microphones have to be equidistant between the middle of the snare drum. So I generally measure it with my drumsticks, because I'm a bit lazy like that. So I'll put 2 drumsticks together and just put it at the height of 2 drumsticks, and 2 drumsticks to the right, and put the other mic to the right there. For the third mic, again, I'd probably use the 52 just for the definition of the kick drum, because that's the only thing that can be difficult to kind of isolate and beef up without ruining the rest of the sound. So this sound is phenomenal. I've used it many times. Even before I had built this studio, I used to record with the Glyn Johns method, 3 mics, and people used to love it. So it's great for any sort of 70s sounding stuff, older sounding stuff that want that kind of vibe. It's absolutely perfect. So I'd probably say that for 3 mics. So 4 mics, I would probably stick to the 3 mic setup, so the Glyn Johns with the kick drum. And now I'm torn. Let's say I had a third 181, then I would use it as a room mic, because then I think you can get interesting with entering into sort of like slightly warped sounds underneath the general kit sound, or, you know, overly compressed, or just, you know, putting a lot of delay on that to make it sound like a really big room. So I think it would be great if that's the kind of vibe that you're going for. If you want a tighter sound, if you want a more concentrated sound, then I might go for the 57. Just so, again, you can have a bit more control over the snare drum. And I'd probably mic it from the side, like I said before. I'd mess around with it, but generally I think I'd mic it from the side if I've only got one microphone on the snare drum. So either you can have a bit more of an open, trashier sound, or much more concentrated. But I think once you've got 4 mics, there are so many options that you will have a great drum sound, no matter. You just got to experiment a bit, I think. That's the key. Experimentation, don't be scared. See how it sounds, and if it doesn't sound good, change it. Simple as that. So yeah, 4 mics, luxury.